Hey everyone, my name is Steve. Today we're delving into a disturbing case that shook the quiet town of Deltona in eastern Florida back in February 2018. This story will give you chills and make you look at your screen with your mouth open. A young man named Patrick de la Cerda, just 25 years old, was brutally murdered in his home. The injuries suggested a personal revenge against him. This case stands out as a well-thought-out and carefully planned crime. Despite quickly identifying the murderer, there was a lack of direct evidence to prove guilt. As mentioned by investigator Chad Weaver, he realized early on that this could be a story worthy of a detective movie. In fact, it turned out to be just that. Who is Patrick de la Cerda? Patrick de la Cerda, born in June 1992 in the vibrant city of Miami, Florida, hailed from a warm and happy family. His father, Max de la Cerda, originally from Spain, and his mother, Patricia Ronza, a native of France, moved to the United States in the 80s. Despite their divorce after almost a quarter-century together, the separation between Max and Patricia was amicable, marked by quiet and peaceful parting without disputes over property. Growing up in an atmosphere of love, care, and mutual respect, Patrick was a kind, intelligent, and sociable young man. Despite the family not being affluent, Max worked tirelessly in the construction field, establishing himself as an excellent specialist in the industry. After completing high school, Patrick decided to follow in his father's footsteps and joined the construction faculty at the university. Despite his parents' divorce, the de la Cerda family remained close-knit and friendly. Patrick, even as an adult, continued working with his father in Miami. The family members stayed connected, regularly communicating and offering help when needed. Patrick's visits to his mother in Deltona, a quiet town in the east of the state, were frequent. He shared the happenings of his life with her, reflecting the strong bond they maintained. Having French-Spanish roots, Patrick, from a young age, valued meaningful relationships over fleeting affairs. He dreamt of building a strong family, just like the one he grew up in. In 2017, Patrick encountered Jessica Devani on an online dating site. Born in 1988 in Orlando, Florida, Jessica worked in banking after completing her education. Their online communication quickly turned into phone calls, leading to a deep, mutual connection. Despite living in different parts of the state, Patrick and Jessica decided to meet halfway for their first date. On that fateful day, Patrick realized that Jessica was the one he had been searching for. Jessica, 4 years older than Patrick, also felt a strong connection. Despite the challenges of a long-distance relationship, the couple saw each other on weekends, renting hotel rooms for quality time together. Their long-distance relationship lasted several months, presenting challenges as they could only meet on weekends due to work commitments. Despite these difficulties, Patrick, enchanted by Jessica, called his mother to share the exciting news of meeting the girl of his dreams whom he wanted to marry and start a family with. Patricia, happy for her son, recognized the sincerity in his voice. The couple faced the realities of a relationship conducted in neutral places during weekends and returned to their respective homes on Sunday nights. Geographical separation and work commitments posed challenges, but their commitment to each other persisted. In this intricate web of relationships, the story of Patrick and Jessica unfolded, marked by love, determination, and the challenges of maintaining a connection despite the distance. Proposal of marriage. In December 2017, Patrick made a significant decision to move to Deltona, where his mother lived, to be closer to his sweetheart, Jessica. He purchased a house in a quiet neighborhood and began renovating it, creating a cozy home for the two of them. Despite Jessica's inability to immediately leave her job, they planned a housewarming party for early spring the following year. On New Year's Eve, the couple celebrated together, and Patrick surprised Jessica with a heartfelt proposal. Under a backdrop of fireworks in the backyard, he got down on one knee, presenting her with a ring and asking the most important question. Overjoyed, Jessica happily accepted, and the couple began their engagement preparations. Patrick, meticulous about finding the perfect engagement ring, admitted that he couldn't find the ideal one in local jewelry stores. He chose the best available to make the proposal before the new year, but also ordered an exclusive ring from a jewelry workshop. The design was his creation, reflecting the care and thought he put into the symbol of their commitment. As 2 months passed since the engagement, preparations for the wedding and a housewarming party were in full swing. The couple's choice received approval from their parents, and they eagerly anticipated the upcoming celebrations, planning for a lavish celebration in either Miami on the Atlantic Ocean shores or France, the groom's mother's homeland. The young couple looked forward to a new stage in their lives. However, on February 27, 2018, Max de la Cerda, Patrick's father, received an unsettling call from a courier.
I think so, but I can't really tell what's left. My wife was in the bathroom, so I figured I'd just go in the sink, and I slipped on my own piss and caught my dong in the sinkhole. I tried to pull myself up.
Courier reported that Patrick's order had been delivered to the specified address, but there was no response from Patrick, who didn't open the door or answer calls. Concerned, Max, who was at work, couldn't immediately check on his son. Anxious, he reached out to Jessica, expressing his worry about being unable to reach Patrick. Jessica, equally alarmed, had been attempting to contact Patrick since morning without success. Max, with a sense of suspicion, suggested that something might have happened to Patrick. Jessica, dropping everything, rushed to Patrick's house as quickly as possible. Upon arrival, she noticed Patrick's car in the driveway, indicating that he hadn't left. With her own key, Jessica entered the yard, calling out to Patrick, but there was no response. Upon cautiously opening the front door, she was met with a horrifying sight. Patrick lying practically at the entrance, surrounded by his own blood, showing no signs of life. Devastated, Jessica immediately called emergency services, but despite their efforts, Patrick was declared dead. When the police arrived, Jessica, in distress, was sobbing in the backyard where Patrick had proposed just 2 months earlier. Approached by an officer, she looked at him and revealed that she knew who had committed the gruesome act, shattering her life. The unfolding tragedy marked a turning point in the once promising love story between Patrick and Jessica. Jessica's rich ex-boyfriend. To understand this complex case and unravel the mystery behind why someone would want to harm a young man seemingly without enemies, we need to rewind to the time when Patrick and Jessica first crossed paths. During this period, Jessica was in a relationship with Gregory Bender, a wealthy businessman who managed his own investment fund. Jessica met Gregory during her student years, and despite a significant age gap, he wooed her with grand gestures, expensive gifts, and trips to luxurious resorts. At first, Jessica believed she had found her true love, but as time passed, she began noticing peculiarities in Gregory's behavior. He became excessively controlling, monitoring her every move and intimidating anyone who showed interest in her. This relationship lasted nearly 8 years, during which Gregory never introduced Jessica to his family or friends. Their interactions were limited to occasions dictated by Gregory, and he rarely invited her to his house, citing his busy schedule. Although Jessica expressed her desire for a normal family life and children, Gregory consistently deferred these plans, using a ring as a temporary solution whenever Jessica contemplated ending the relationship. One day, Gregory was involved in a car accident and ended up in the hospital. Upon hearing the news, Jessica rushed to his side, intending to gather some of his belongings from his house. However, she encountered a stranger, Diora Sanchez, who, instead of answering Jessica's inquiries, posed a similar question. Revealing her engagement ring, Jessica declared herself as the bride of the homeowner, only to be met with laughter from Diora, who claimed to be Gregory's legal wife. Shocked by this revelation, Jessica decided to end her long-standing relationship with Gregory, who, in turn, persistently pursued her, making promises of a divorce from Diora in the near future and the prospect of marriage. Despite Jessica's initial belief in Gregory's promises, time passed without any substantial changes in their relationship. Frustrated with the stagnant affair, Jessica took a decisive step by filling out a questionnaire on a dating site. This move led her to connect with Patrick. As their communication progressed, Jessica made up her mind to break up with Gregory, a decision she communicated to him. However, Gregory was unwilling to let her go. The intricate web of relationships and motives sets the stage for the unfortunate events that followed, bringing us to the heart of a perplexing mystery involving Patrick's untimely demise. Crazy Stalker. To understand the complication of this perplexing case and imagine the motives behind the tragic demise of a seemingly untroubled young man, we need to dive into the history of Patrick and Jessica's journey. The narrative unfolds when Jessica was entangled in a relationship with Gregory Bender, a prosperous businessman overseeing his investment fund. Despite the significant age gap, Jessica was enamored by Gregory's lavish gestures during her student years. However, the initial allure soon gave way to the discovery of strange things in Gregory's behavior. A relationship spanning 8 years was characterized by controlling tendencies and intimidation tactics, especially towards those showing interest in Jessica.
I'm making a phone call, I'm giving instructions, and I'm going to have my plan put into action.
You felt at that moment that something terrible may have happened.
Yes.
Gregory maintained a secretive distance, refraining from introducing Jessica to his family or friends. Jessica, aspiring to build a conventional family, found herself consistently pacified with an engagement ring whenever contemplating an end to the relationship. A pivotal moment arose when Gregory, following a car accident, found himself hospitalized. Jessica's rush to his aid led to an encounter with a stranger, Diora Sanchez, at Gregory's residence. Diora, revealed as Gregory's legal wife, exposed the truth, compelling Jessica to sever ties with the creepy businessman. Despite Gregory's persistent promises of divorce, Jessica eventually moved on and connected with Patrick through a dating site. Gregory's response escalated from persuasion to threats and harassment, prompting him to seek a rival. Engaging professionals, Gregory hacked Jessica's account to identify Patrick. Subsequently, Patrick faced a barrage of threatening messages, with Gregory demanding a breakup with Jessica. Patrick, unfazed by the threats, believed they would not materialize. Concerned about potential harm due to Gregory's wealth, connections, and firearm collection, Jessica urged Patrick to end the relationship. Very bravely, Jessica and Patrick approached the police, providing evidence of Gregory's stalking and threats. A restraining order was secured against Gregory, fostering a belief that the danger had abated. However, Jessica's fear of Gregory violating the order prompted Patrick to install CCTV cameras around their house. Fast forward to the tragic events of February 27, 2018, when investigators encountered a crime scene hinting at a deeply personal motive. Patrick, the victim, bore 4 gunshot wounds: thigh, chest, and head, alongside injuries indicative of a fall. The assailant seemingly ambushed Patrick on the 2nd floor, initiating the attack with a shot to the thigh. As Patrick descended the stairs, further shots ensued, culminating in a meticulously planned murder. Despite Jessica's certainty that Gregory orchestrated the crime, initial suspicion fell on a neighbor with a history of conflict. This combat veteran, grappling with mental disorders, harbored animosity towards Patrick. Detained and interrogated, the veteran presented a solid alibi during the murder. The absence of evidence at the crime scene, including fingerprints or DNA, pointed to a well-thought-out plan. As doubts regarding Gregory's involvement intensified, the police sought a confrontation. Jessica, complying with their request, initiated a call to Gregory, attempting to extract a confession. However, Gregory, feigning ignorance, maintained his innocence. The lack of grounds for detention left Gregory adhering to the restraining order, seemingly distancing himself from Jessica. The mystery surrounding Patrick's demise persisted, leaving investigators grappling with the complexities of a meticulously orchestrated crime. As investigators pursued leads and delved deeper into the intricacies of the case, they faced a myriad of challenges. The absence of a murder weapon, coupled with the rarity of the pistol used, added layers of complexity to the investigation. The meticulous planning, evidenced by the absence of any trace at the crime scene, hinted at a perpetrator well-versed in evading detection. The veteran neighbor, initially under suspicion, was eventually cleared due to a verifiable alibi. This development heightened the mystery, redirecting attention to Gregory, despite the lack of direct evidence linking him to the crime. The police, driven by the desire for justice, continued their covert efforts to gather information that would unravel the enigma surrounding Patrick's untimely death. Meanwhile, the emotional toll on Jessica was immeasurable. The loss of her fiancé
just came out of nowhere. He just asked, like, will you marry me?
And what did you say?
Of course, I said yes. I was so excited.
Coupled with the lingering fear of Gregory's potential involvement, cast a shadow over her daily life. The installation of CCTV cameras, initially a precautionary measure, evolved into a constant reminder of the vulnerability she felt. Despite the complexity and challenges faced by investigators, the pursuit of justice remained steadfast. The case demanded meticulous attention to detail, collaboration among various forensic disciplines, and innovative investigative techniques. Theories emerged and evolved, each scrutinized against the available evidence, leading investigators down intricate paths of inquiry. In the quest for justice, the investigation expanded beyond the immediate circle of suspects. Associates, acquaintances, and anyone connected to Patrick and Jessica became subjects of scrutiny.
Love you. Good night. Sweet dreams. Call me in the morning. I'll call you. I'll send you a text when I wake up, alright? Love you. Good night. Bye.
The challenge lay not only in identifying the perpetrator, but also in deciphering the motive behind the meticulously planned murder. timeline of events, from Jessica's tumultuous relationship with Gregory to her connection with Patrick, formed a narrative fraught with emotional turmoil and complexity. The contrast between the seemingly idyllic love story and the grim reality of a premeditated murder added layers of intrigue to the investigation. As investigators pieced together fragments of information, they faced the delicate task of separating fact from fiction. The emotional toll on Jessica, who had transitioned from one tumultuous relationship to another, underscored the human aspect of the investigation. Balancing empathy with the pursuit of justice became a paramount consideration for those involved in the case. The lack of direct evidence tying Gregory to the crime, combined with his adherence to the restraining order, posed a legal challenge. The investigators treated this case cautiously, mindful of the need for a watertight case to bring the perpetrator to justice. Meanwhile, the community, once a backdrop to a blossoming romance, now grappled with the aftermath of a heinous crime. In conclusion, the saga of Patrick's tragic death and the subsequent investigation into the meticulously planned murder unveiled a tapestry of complexities. From the intricate dynamics of relationships to the challenges of forensic scrutiny, the case demanded a nuanced approach. The pursuit of justice, albeit fraught with challenges, remained resolute. As investigators navigated the labyrinth of clues, the ultimate goal was to unravel the mystery shrouding Patrick's untimely demise and bring closure to those impacted by this harrowing ordeal. The notes of the killer. As the cops were trying hard to figure out what happened to Patrick, Diora Sanchez Bender, Gregory's wife, rang them up. She said she knew something crucial about Patrick Dira's situation. The police hurriedly called her in for a talk. Diora shared that before the crime, she saw a strange notebook in her husband Gregory's office. When she looked into it, she found a detailed plan of someone else's house and some weird steps to follow. She didn't pay much mind to it then, but when she saw a news story about a brutal murder with the same house plan, it clicked for her. This led the police to check Gregory's place. They found the mysterious notebook, but some pages were missing. Later, these pages were found crumpled up in the trash. They revealed a sinister plan. Gregory had carefully listed each step, like keeping the phone quiet, using gloves, and putting some special stuff on shoes. Gregory knew all about Patrick's daily routine, the cameras around, and how to hide any proof. Even though he tried to get rid of these papers, they became the key to uncovering the truth. In Gregory's house, they found a missing shell casing kept as a trophy. Forensics confirmed it was the exact one used in the murder. The evidence was strong, but a big problem remained. They never found the murder weapon. Gregory's trial only started in May 2021, over 3 years after the crime. Even with top-notch lawyers, Gregory seemed hopeful he could escape punishment. Jessica, Patrick's girlfriend, played a crucial role as the main witness. She told the story of her tough relationship with Gregory.
He's been harmed.
Yes, for sure.
The threats he made towards her and Patrick. With saved screenshots and phone records, Jessica aimed to get justice for Patrick. Gregory's defense tried to put blame on Jessica, saying she provoked him by starting a new relationship, while still sort of with Gregory. They even accused her of liking expensive gifts from a rich admirer. Primary proof, the murder plan in Gregory's notebook, was tossed aside by the defense. They said it was just a product of a hurt man's imagination, seeking revenge. They argued Gregory's plans were just fantasies, making the lack of physical evidence at the crime scene less important. The defense also said the house search wasn't legal, suggesting the shell casing might have been planted. The trial took a major turn when Diora Sanchez, Gregory's ex-wife, spoke up. Initially not bothered, Gregory suddenly confessed his love for her. This changed her testimony. She got confused, doubted if Gregory could commit murder, and seemed to back out from testifying against him. Despite the legal challenges, the jury found Gregory Bender guilty of first-degree murder after lots of thinking. The missing murder weapon, the lack of direct proof, and the ex-wife's unsure testimony made it tough. Gregory got a life sentence without parole. At the sentencing, his intense look at Jessica stuck with her. Despite Gregory's multiple attempts to appeal with his fancy lawyers, all got rejected. The case got big attention from society because a rich businessman brutally harmed a regular worker and tried to get away with it. The press covered Patrick Dira's story widely, showing how a wealthy person tried to escape justice. Now, with Gregory behind bars, Jessica finds comfort in keeping Patrick's memory alive. She wears the ring he gave her and treasures an exclusive piece of jewelry he never had the chance to gift her. Jessica stays close to Patrick's parents, who treat her like their own daughter. Patrick Dira's story stands as a strong reminder. Justice can win, even against a rich person trying to avoid consequences for a heartless act. So there you go. Everything regarding the Patrick de la Cerda's case. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.